As long as you and I live, conflict will find us. And when conflict finds us, it often brings high stakes. Sometimes brings threat, and sometimes brings opportunity, and very often brings them both at exactly the same time. For example, at work, disagreements can devolve into splintered factions where turf gets protected, and energy gets used in wound licking and planning for the next skirmish. But when the energy of conflict is productively embraced, ideas can be shared, creative tensions can be harnessed, and tremendous benefit can accrue to an organization. When we skillfully handle the conflict that angry, demanding customers bring, we can sometimes convert them into satisfied clients and maybe on occasion even into our raving fans. And some conflicts can threaten the very existence of our important personal relationships. But along with the threat comes the opportunity for real growth if the conflict is handled well. What we learn about ourselves and our important others can propel our personal relationships forward. And the making up can be mighty sweet. It's obvious, isn't it, that conflict brings both threat and opportunity, often packaged together. You know, like a cloud of secondhand smoke. Poorly handled conflict can negatively affect bystanders, spreading toxicity through families and work groups. To stand idly by rather than, when appropriate, stepping into the energy of conflict often ensures dysfunction. To be certain, our ability to navigate conflict has a direct bearing on the quality of our relationships, a direct bearing on the health of the organizations we inhabit, and a direct bearing on the quality of our own personal lives. All this leads to several questions. First, do you usually show up for the important conflicts in your life? Or like many people, out of discomfort, do you try to ignore them? Avoiding conflict rarely works. When conflict gets buried alive, it still has life and power. It gets ventilated through gossip, passive-aggressive behaviors, and other forms of sabotage. You know, there may be times it is wise to run. I think there are times it is wise to run. But when we try to run from those conflicts that we should attend to, they will chase after us and find us all over again. Here's a second question. When you show up for your conflicts, how do you show up? Do you arrive in full battle armor, ready to aggressively fight and stubbornly defend your position? Or do you shed your armor and arrive ready to listen, learn, and invite the other person to co-create a solution with you? And what if you show up to the conflict unarmored, with the desire to work with the other, but find the other is armored up and ready to fight? Do you have the skills to navigate this difficult terrain? I've asked myself all of these same questions. No doubt, conflict often brings situations that invoke fear, that require us to summon our courage. But please remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to do the right thing while you are yet afraid. Would you like to wire your brain so you can courageously step into the energy of conflict with compassion, confidence, and skill? Would you like to increase the odds of seizing the opportunities that conflict often brings? If so, I invite you to learn more about conflict jujitsu.